Welcome to the B-Max Sports Podcast.
Hey, we got 30 minutes for the rest of our lives. 30 minutes for the rest of our lives.
Make sure to subscribe on all platforms.
Let's be great. Let's be great.
Hope you enjoy the show.
Yo! We're back again, boys and girls, of course. Not going to be sexist on this show. It's Tate and Josh in the morning again. Hutto, how was your day?
My day was in my last couple of days have been a just time tragedy. I've got a sinus infection, so if I start coughing or sneezing, I'm going to try to mute it. But if I do, I don't have the Rona. I just have a terrible sinus infection.
Hutto's been crying all day at work about this sinus infection. Actually left work early. Highly disappointed in you, but it is what it is.
Work early too.
Shh. No, I didn't. Nobody knows that. Calm down, buddy. It's a full sin today, guys, as usual. Shout out Nilk. It is a full sin today. We got a couple of things to talk about. A lot of them are hot topics right now, especially on Facebook, Twitter, trending topics. Some political, some not political. So let's jump right into it. The first thing on the dock today is the George Floyd case. This was a man in Minneapolis. How do you say that? Minneapolis? Some shit like that. Minnesota. His name's George Floyd. There were 4 officers responding to a forgery in progress. So it was a nonviolent crime to begin with. And then according to the police records, he resisted arrest, which is, I mean, you shouldn't resist arrest. But once they had him subdued, there was one officer that continued to put his knee on the back of his neck. And there were several onlookers. I watched the video, or some of the video, little highlights of it. I didn't feel like watching a 10-minute video of a man pretty much getting killed. I mean, I don't want to watch that. At some point, I just feel like, okay, if that's necessary, which in some cases it is, this dude was a big guy. It may have been necessary early on in the arrest, but at some point, these onlookers were yelling at him to check for a pulse, check for a pulse. The dude hadn't moved in a solid 2-3 minutes, and he's just still cramped down. It takes a while. I don't know if you guys, our listeners, watch UFC, but you see people get choked unconscious all the time, and they're fine. They wait as long as the ref stops it. Once they get choked out, they're fine. Now, if you continue to hold that chokehold for a matter of 3-4 minutes, then that person's going to pass away. So at some point, this guy should have noticed, hey, this guy ain't moving. His body's not moving. He's not breathing. That's common sense. So the 4 officers that were involved were dismissed, and I think rightfully so. You've got to know the limitations, guys. I mean, especially with all the scrutiny the cops are under these days, you got to be careful. And even if you're not under scrutiny, I mean, this just goes above and beyond common sense to me. If somebody's body's not, you can tell when somebody's breathing. I mean, if their stomach's moving up and down, they're breathing. If it's not, they're probably not breathing. And you can check for if he's not moving or you got him handcuffed, you got your knee on the back of his neck, and his hands are behind his back. It's pretty simple to sit right there and feel for a pulse. At some point, you could have been like, "Oh shit, he's not breathing. Let me perform CPR on this man." But unfortunately, that's not what happened. So an ambulance was called. They put him on the stretcher and handcuffs, which that part is pretty customary, even with gunshot victims. When they're shot, they keep them in handcuffs because you never know if they're playing dead on you, whatnot. So I understand the handcuffs in the ambulance, but I'm not real sure what this cop was doing and why the other cops just stood around. And I mean, I wouldn't necessarily blame it on the other cops because there were a lot of onlookers and they were trying to keep them back. I think the onlookers did not help his situation at all. But still, at the end of the day, it's the cop's job to make sure, 1, he subdues the person. 2, make sure he doesn't kill them if they're, if they don't need killing, you know what I mean? But anyway.
Well, and that's what kind of I was going to make just a small comment on it is that, I mean, in this day and age, everybody has a smartphone. Everybody has a camera. Everybody gets nosy. They want to go, into and see the action and things like this. I'm not saying this wouldn't have happened. Like I said, I fully agree with those guys being their jobs being terminated. There's a point where, yes, if he's being violent while you're trying to subdue him, there's a point where I think some people just get dropped on their face. Like, I don't care. Like, there's a point where
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah,
like,
I could
dude,
see him even dropping him on the face or anything
yeah,
like that.
just get messed up, bro. Because I
Yeah,
know there's
there
a
was
one
4 of
I've
them.
seen
They
a
didn't have to.
yeah, I've seen which
Yeah.
okay, and I will go to this point too. If you've ever tried to grab somebody who was been under the influence of alcohol or on some kind of drugs, not saying this guy was, I don't know, didn't. I mean, I watched a little bit of the video, this, that, and the other, doesn't matter. If you've ever tried to grab like one of your drunk friends or one of your high friends or something like that, and you're trying to get them in there, I've had situations where some of my friends aren't even that big of a dude. Um, we've tried to grab and put them in a car or something like that. It's not an easy task, and I mean, they just don't want to be put in a car. You're talking about people who don't want to be locked up. I mean, you're looking at jail time. I really don't think. I don't know. Obviously, you're never going to be able to tell if they meant to do it or not. It might just have been a lack of judgment, but I don't think that the onlookers were helping whatsoever, because not only do you distract the cop who does have his knee on somebody's neck from paying attention to what he's doing, you also distract the other cops who are supposed to keep the cop who is doing the arrest accountable for things like this from happening. Because yes, they've got. I mean, there's been many times where you've seen somebody get arrested, and everybody who's around taking pictures, taking videos, then they start writing, and then all the other cops start getting their asses beat. So yeah, I mean, mistakes can be made. Obviously, I think there was some mistakes on both sides of these parties, but to me, it could have been prevented. His death could have been prevented. Like I said, I agree with their termination, but I also think that there are some situations where it could. I mean, I don't know if it was necessarily they meant to do it or meant to kill the guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure they set out to kill this guy either. The video cuts in after they've already the cop's got his knee on his neck from what the video I seen did anyway. So it's hard to tell how unruly he was being and stuff like that from this video. But like you said, bottom line, a dude lost his life and he shouldn't have. I mean, everybody deserves their day in court. What he did may or may not have been a felony. I don't know what forgery is. I think it's over a certain amount it's a felony. What you're trying to how much money you're trying to get. But bottom line, the dude should still be alive today. These cops are going to be held accountable in a court of law. They're going to get their day in court. Unfortunately, he'll never get his day in court. He's dead. So we'll see everything. I really do believe our justice system I mean, everything could be improved for sure. I can think of improvements right off the top of my head to the justice system, especially in the rehabilitation sense. These criminals are served lengthy jail terms and then are released to the streets with no rehabilitation whatsoever. All they know is the concrete jungle, how to fight, kill, and rape and stuff like that in jail. What do you think they're going to bring to the outside world? But that's for another situation. But I do believe in the due process of law. I think these guys, especially with all the media attention this case is going to get, these guys will get what they deserve, I believe. When all the evidence comes to light, of course, as the public, we only know one side of it.
Yeah,
And that's what we saw in the video.
that's
So,
what's unfortunate about most of these incidents. People don't start videoing up until the point of something went wrong.
right,
And I
exactly.
mean, I'm not saying this is the same situation, but in the 2014 shooting of Michael Brown, the hands up, don't shoot deal. And, everybody was saying, well, he was holding his hands up, not telling him to shoot. What you didn't see
It's
was
him reach for the gun. He reached for the gun.
3 or 4 seconds before the video started, he's trying to steal an officer's weapon. So
Right.
that's where
Yeah.
I kind of get a little bit wary on commenting on things like these videos. And obviously I don't want to bash either side too hard because I don't know and I'm sure just like the Aubrey situation that we're going to find out more and more as this goes along.
Yeah, the media is going to tell us what we want to hear. Their job is to get clicks and views on their videos and articles. So, but it'll all play out. We as a society need to learn to let the justice system play out. And then if the evidence is overwhelming and they still don't get convicted, yes, I can see you doing protests and stuff of that nature. But I tend to be on the civil side where I like to watch things play out. But from the video, it looks pretty clear cut to me that the guy was moving around. I don't think he was necessarily resisting at the beginning of the video, but obviously, I think from the police reports and eyewitness testimony that at some point he was resisting arrest. But at some point, like I said, you can't just sit there. There's an esophagus there, and that's where the air canal is, and you just got to be smarter than that. Not everybody is meant to be a police officer, and that is a 100% fact. We've got people in our workplace that aren't meant to be in the positions they're in. You have bad apples in every workforce. Unfortunately, only those bad apples are shown on TV. You rarely see the heroes that rescue children, catch bad guys, catch criminals. It just is what it is. That's how the media is going to play. So, anyway, we talked about it. Like I said, we'll know more. We'll talk about it more as more of the story comes out. But as I said right now, I think that these cops were not justified, and I mean, obviously, not killing somebody who was unarmed. But so our next topic also involves an African American. It seems like these, like I said, the media pushes this agenda really hard. I feel like, but in this case, Jesus Christ, I don't even know where to start on this one. So the instance I'm talking about, I think there was another incident with a FedEx driver as well recently. But this particular incident was with a Lowe's employee that was going to deliver some furniture, I believe. And he was a black man. Now, the woman had come up there and ordered the furniture or appliance or whatever. It really doesn't matter what it was. And she specifically told the manager that she did not want a black man. She was an older white lady, I think they said. I don't think they came out with a name. Probably good that they didn't. So the man was going to deliver her furniture, and he was the black driver with a white helper. He was on the way, and then I guess the manager remembers, hey, she said she didn't want no black guys delivering her stuff. So manager calls him and is like, hey, need you to come back and bring that delivery back. We're going to let somebody else do it. He asks why, and literally the manager says, because you're black. And I mean, he was being truthful, but Jesus Christ, that's a tough situation for a manager. You're always taught that the customer's right, but in this point, the customer couldn't be more wrong. I mean, Jesus Christ. Does it really matter what color the person is that brings you your stuff as long as you get it?
Dude, if I order something and they can tell me, hey, it's going to get here the day after, I don't care if it's Satan himself, bro. It comes up knocking on the door, I ain't going to let him in. But if they bringing me whatever I ordered off of Amazon and it's one day shipping, I don't care who's bringing it.
I don't care at all, dude.
Satan and Hitler riding in the bus together, bringing me my junk, and I'm just gonna be like, all right, y'all have a good day. See ya.
Obviously,
it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make
and the three managers that were involved in making the decision to bring the driver back were fired. They are no longer with Lowe's. Actually, I think the CEO came to this particular Lowe's to speak to the employees to let them know that they enjoy being their employer, et cetera, which I think is a step in the right direction.
Well, and they shouldn't even entertain that in the first place, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, you should. The manager should have told her.
I'm sorry that, as a representative, because, as a manager, you're a representative of Lowe's and your employees. So
absolutely. You've got to have your employees back.
At this point, you got to be like, look, I really don't know what you mean, but all of our employees are extremely hard workers. They're extremely good individuals.
Well, this particular guy had been with the company 11 years.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude. And at some point, you got to step up and be like, look, man, we're not interested in doing business with you. Take that shit to Home Depot. That's what I would have told her ass. That's like, and I understand this older generation, was raised in different times, but you can't. Why? Why does it matter who brings you your stuff? They're doing you a service. I mean, obviously she's probably paying for the service, and I understand that she has a right to make suggestions. I guess I don't know, but that was a little over the top. And if I was put in that manager's position, I would have told her, "Look, take your business somewhere else. We're not doing business with we employ people of all races." And like the guy made a comment, said, "Hey, I got to go to work. I got to make money for my family to put food on the table. All he's trying to do is make an honest living."
Well, and to me, I think that
So,
manager's at fault more than anybody in the entire situation.
right, and
I mean,
that's why he is no longer an employee of Lowe's.
obviously, that woman can. I mean, you can say what you want. You can say what you want, but
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, she's got that right, but at
but
some point you gotta.
but then as the manager who, and see, this is what. Oh God, it pisses me off. This is what pisses me off about a manager or someone in power over anybody taking a position on anything, because at some point you see this guy, he goes, okay, well, yeah, we can do that. I'll make sure that we send a white employee out there. These people might not know that, but they're working under somebody who doesn't give a damn about them. You know what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
I mean, this happens with race issues. This happens with gender. This happens with even with politics. If somebody knows, I mean, if somebody has a certain politics, like a boss man has a certain politics, and he's all the time talking shit about, well, these people, they don't think like me, so they're common people. They're not bright. They're not smart. You know exactly what the hell I'm talking about. Like you know what I'm
Absolutely.
talking about.
Fuck, I know
And
exactly what you're talking about. And
and
yeah.
like I said, it this kind of ties in with it where no, it's not the exact same situation because I mean, at this point, it hasn't reared its head in any way, shape, or form. But you got to, I mean, in the back of your mind, you're always thinking, okay, if I did say that I see something that I don't think is right, if I stand up for what obviously I think is right, I mean, if something happens, that's affecting my well being. That's affecting my way to pay my bills and do this,
Right.
that, and the other. So
Right.
I think as a manager or someone who has more who has power over people. I mean, and not even like a supervisor or something like that, because obviously everybody's allowed to have their own opinion. But where you're at a point where nobody can hold you responsible for anything, and you're just dead set in I think you just need to keep your opinions to yourself. And if you're in your own circle, in your own house, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. Obviously, you can say what you want. I mean, it's a free country. You can say what you want anyway. But, I
Right.
mean, obviously, this guy, if he would have known that his boss would accommodate something like that, that's something that he would definitely be worried about.
Absolutely. That's worried about your job security as well. I mean, if certain people don't allow African Americans to bring in their products and they're doing layoffs, who's the first people going to be laid
Which, and
off?
I mean, look,
That's just
I'm sure Lowe's does not pay these truck drivers by the load. I'm actually, I'd be willing to bet money they don't. I mean, they probably get paid by the hour, just like every other Lowe's employee. So it was just odd to me that he even agreed, especially in this situation where you know that it can come back to you, and like you know that lady could go to her friends and be like, "Oh well, go speak to this manager because he's not going to send the blacks to your house." I mean, it just stuff like that is just ridiculous. I mean, especially in this day and age where you know that we're changing for the better, and I just don't understand. I don't understand why you wouldn't stick up for your employees.
right. I mean, employees are going to work harder, more honest, um, have a better attitude at work if they know their superiors have their back. That's
Yeah,
just it is what it is. I feel that way at work. I know most of my superiors have my back,
Oh,
So when
100%.
I go out
Yeah,
there, I'm trying to do my best. Now,
100%.
there is a few that I don't think are very fond of me, but that's not going to stop me for doing my job and trying to better our workplace for the people that do have my back
Yeah,
and my fellow workers that are the same people as me that we started a long time ago on this goal. Anyway, now I'm getting off on a tangent. Bottom line, your employees will work harder for you. They'll be honest. They'll. I feel like I can have a conversation with any of my supervisors about anything, and that's just nice to know to confide in somebody like that. Let's move on. So China, I hope you can hear me, you dirty fucks. What the hell y'all got going on over there? Okay, so China makes basically what they're saying is if you're pro democracy or anti China, if you say anything that they fucking don't agree with, it's now a criminal offense. They're trying to get it pushed through their system and trying to get it passed into law, which it probably won't be long from the article we read, Josh. I don't think it's going to be long before that is law in China.
yeah, and they're trying to speed it up. Like
Yeah, they're
they're
trying to
trying
rush it through there, which is, I find it very troubling. Um, Here in America, we have the freedom. We take it for granted sometimes. I feel like to protest if we want to do, if we don't like something, you can say whatever the hell you want as long as it's not a threat to someone else, of course, impeding on their rights as a human being. But this is crazy. This is what communism does to you. Can't even believe what you want. I mean, you can believe what you want to believe. I guess they don't know what you believe. But if you publicly voice that opinion, you're going to be arrested and locked up. And I think it's a bunch of horse shit.
And the scary thing is that this article actually uses the word sedition into describing what the actual illegal act is. And if you don't know what sedition is, it's conduct or speech inciting people to rebel against authority or a state of government or monarchy. So, I mean, that's any form of that's not just rebelling. That's not doing something that's breaking the law. That's just like if I walk up and say, "Hey, I don't really like how Donald Trump's doing things. I don't like how he's doing this. I don't like how he's doing that." Or I walked up and I said, "You know what? Brian Kemp made a decision I didn't like, and I went and posted it to Facebook or something like that."
Arrested.
That will be illegal. You'll be arrested. You will be in jail. Um,
That's
so
fucking insane that we live. It's so insane to me that we live on the same planet Earth, but abide by such different
yeah,
laws. I mean, who are these? That's what the book I'm reading, Sapiens, is talking about. Who gave these guys power? They're all fictional beings. These car companies are fictional beings. It's so weird, and I never really thought about it until I started reading this book, Sapiens. I'm about halfway done with it. It's insane that how did these people become so powerful? Who decided we came over here from Great Britain and decided, hey, we're going to be a democracy. Hey, this fucker's going to be president. Hey, so and so, China, I'm going to be a fucking communist nation. This, I don't even know how they picked their fucker over there. I don't think they get to pick. I think it's more through like a bloodline or something. I'm pretty sure. Holy shit, that's crazy, right? Like, what the hell?
well, and obviously coming off of Memorial Day, this just makes you reading stuff like this makes you appreciate more the number one these guys going overseas and standing up and fighting for our freedom, and it makes you even appreciate the ones even more who gave everything they have and appreciate their families who now no longer can hug them at nighttime because they did give all to protect these freedoms that so we can talk shit about people we don't like. I mean, that's
Yeah, we got these guys going over there and fighting overseas, so we can actually talk shit about them. I mean, that's a thing in America, apparently. So,
yeah,
but yes, shout out to our men and women that protect those bars and stars. We really appreciate y'all. Memorial Day, y'all should have a whole week minimum, maybe a month.
yeah,
But it is
right.
what it is. We do appreciate y'all. I'm lucky to live in the United States where I can think freely, act freely, do as I please, come and go as I please, and we take a lot of that for granted because that's all we've ever known.
Yeah.
But
And I
these
mean,
Chinese people that are pro democracy, that want to speak their mind, would trade places with us in a freaking minute. I'm
yeah.
telling you.
Well, and the reason this is happening is because after the virus stuff lifted, the Hong Kong protesters just like hop back out of their house. They're like, "F it, bro, we're going back." So
Back!
shout out to the Hong Kong protesters, China. You know I'm
Might fly out there and join 'em.
You know I'm on that ass, bro. I know you released the virus on these people, and you know what they
You
said?
damn right, you bitches.
They said, bro, we might have died, but there's still more of us. Get some,
Back.
bro. And
There's
they
a
come
lot of
back.
Chinese people,
I'm
yo.
on your ass, China. I know what you
That's a-
did. Damn
That's a
snake.
big ass country.
You snakes, you damn.
Yeah, we're on your ass,
Living
yo.
in the garden, snakes.
We're on that ass, though. That's 100% fact.
Oh yeah, it's two guys in Dublin, Georgia, sitting here on their computers, and we know, just know, we might not be that
fucking know,
important,
bitch.
but god dang it, we've got a podcast, and we
And
might not.
we've got a voice,
Nobody's listening, but we have a podcast.
I don't give a shit. I'm gonna talk to
We
myself.
don't care.
I'm gonna listen later,
Yeah, we'll
and I'm
do.
gonna
We'll
I'm
keep
gonna
ripping you,
fly American flag in my bathroom as I'm listening to this,
Dude,
taking a shower. I'm gonna fucking have one floating up there. I'm gonna draw one on the
I've
mirror.
really been thinking about buying a flagpole and putting it in my front yard because there used to be one, and I saw a picture of my house with a flagpole, and I was like, dude, this yard definitely needs one.
You got to get a "Don't Tread on Me" flag as well.
Dude, hell yeah, brother. Just let them know, like, dog, y'all be coming in these parts. We don't, you come in these parts. We don't mess around, bro.
We don't fuck around here in Dublin, Georgia.
No,
China, you can take that commie shit somewhere else, buddy. We'll blast your dumbasses.
I'm gonna get a "Don't Tread," dude. I saw a cartoon thing that was like "Don't Tread on Me," and it has, instead of the snake curled up,
Yeah.
it has got a really tragic drawing of a Chinaman with like a gun.
God.
It is, the drawing's really racist looking, but god dang it, is funny. Like, it's like, you know, like if you look back and you look like just like an elementary school drawing of a Chinese person.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Yeah, I can imagine what it looks like. I'm trying to get that picture out of my head, Josh, to be honest with you.
Oh, it was funny.
Let's just move on.
The
Let's just
internet
move
is
on.
undefeated.
It's undefeated for sure. Next up, we've got a video that has surfaced. Now, I've read I read that article, and then I was reading through some of the comments. Now, this news outlet reported that it was a nursing home, and that was a nurse. But I knew something was fishy when I was watching the video because he wasn't dressed like a nurse. He wasn't wearing scrubs or anything like that. Come to find out from a link I was seen in the comments from a reliable news source as well. It was like a facility where old people, and it's a weird kind of facility from what I was reading. They have old people in there with mentally ill people. Like, who thought that was a fucking good idea? And apparently this guy was a mentally ill patient or some shit. I don't know. Regardless, this man, so no matter what your outlook on this is, if he's mentally ill or if he's a nurse, where the fuck is the rest of the staff at? This guy.
When somebody's also videoing it, somebody's videoing it.
See, in the comments, it said that the man was videoing it himself. He had his phone.
Yeah, he could have propped it up, but
he propped it up and then picked it up at the end and was like, "Get off my bed, bitch." Anyway.
Well, now I know he looked like he was dressed in scrubs. Like, he looked like he was dressed differently than the old dude that he was beating the hell out of.
I mean, he definitely looked different than the old dude. It looked like he was wearing like a striped shirt.
Was this some kind of facility where you hire mentally ill people to also, kind of like the Easter Seals, but an Easter Seals nursing home? Like,
I pray to God that's not a thing.
That's a terrible idea.
Terrible idea.
Terrible idea.
Good concept, Easter Seals is for sure, but not a nursing home.
Yeah, but when they're making stakes for like construction and stuff like that, not when they're having to take care of people. Because I mean,
right,
a lot of them can't take care of themselves.
Precisely.
But
this video troubles me, dude. My blood was boiling. He was literally beating this old ass dude in the face repeatedly, just punching him to the point where the old man started bleeding, had a cut under his eye. And was like, "Get off my bed, bitch!" I was like, "Whoa!"
Well, what's unfortunate?
So where the fuck is the staff at? What's going on here?
What's unfortunate too is because this has also brought to light, like, people are making compilation videos of they have found their family members, like their mothers and their dads and their brothers or something like that, that they've had bruises on them, and things like that, and they've put up hidden cameras in their family members' nursing home room, and they're just getting smacked. I mean, there's videos of them getting absolutely smacked around.
All right, well, guys, here's your warning. If any of my family members ever go in a nursing home, and I found out you've abused them mentally, physically, or emotionally, you're gonna have a fucking bad day. Because I'm gonna come in there and I'm breaking all kinds of shit, including your face. These are people that have contributed to our society for years and years and years, and now it's our turn to give back to them. And you fucking treat them like shit, punch them, beat them. That's the lowest of the low, right? You're right there with child molesters, in my opinion.
Well, and
I'm gonna fucking fuck you up. That's your warning.
when you go and you look in the comments on some of this stuff, and they're talking about, well, y'all white people, y'all just privileged, y'all are throwing these your parents in nursing homes, and y'all don't want to take care of them. Look, man, I know a lot of people who sincerely try to take care of their parents when they get up there in age, and that's a job that sometimes takes 8 hours a day, 9, 10 hours a day, even more than a regular job. On top of the fact that these guys also have to put in the rest of their 30 years like their parents put in 30 years. And then both people, the husband and the wife are in the home, they're both working. And I mean, obviously you got your kids who are probably going to school, probably going to college. It's extremely hard. You can't really, I know a lot of people are against putting family members in nursing homes. And like I said, I wouldn't want to see my grandparents in a nursing home. I wouldn't want to see, because I mean, my great grandmother, they lived in Florida. There was a point in her life where, I mean, she died at 93. I think she had just turned 93 when they put her in the nursing home. But it was just so much that my great grandparents, they couldn't do anything about it. I mean, they couldn't keep, it was impossible for them to keep her. So, like I said, I hated to see her in that situation, but I mean, there was nothing you can do about it. So I'm not going to sit here and bash people for not being able to stop their entire lives or start a whole new job that doesn't pay, of taking care of one. I mean, that don't pay the bills.
Right. So, and I mean, some people are fortunate and they can take care of their elderly family, and that's fantastic. But of course, just like anything else, everybody doesn't have the same opportunities to do that. I mean, a lot of you have the mother and father working in homes now, whereas in the old days, it was mostly the father was the provider. But now things are so expensive and the cost of living is so fucked up that you have to have two incomes to make it almost. And there's nobody to look after the elderly, unfortunately. Yeah, but luckily, we have people that genuinely care about our older generations, and they find solace in helping out the elderly. Some people are meant for that job, just like the police officer. Some people aren't. If you're not meant for it, don't go in there beating up old people. Because then, one, karma's going to get you, and then two, BMAC's going to get you. I'm going to have to fuck you up. This is what it is.
Come through the window?
Oh, no, there's no coming through the window. I'm kicking in the front fucking door, and I'm taking everybody with me.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. No old people, though. I'm not going to. There were no old people harmed in the making of this podcast.
No old people getting killed on this rampage, bro.
Yeah, but there's going to be some skulls, not for sure. All right, so let's move on. Let's talk a little UFC. We talk about this probably more than any other sport, probably because I like it just about more than any other sport.
It's one of my favorite sports. I mean,
yeah, besides football.
Yeah, I'm kind of like you. I'm more of a football guy, but I mean, I haven't been watching UFC as long as I've been watching football. I've been watching football since I could walk. So,
well, unfortunately for me, my dad. Sorry if you're listening, Mike. Was a huge UFC fan. I think I watched like the first 6 or 7 UFCs on tape 8 fucking times. He'd go to a movie gallery where my aunt worked. Shout out Fitzgerald, Georgia Movie Gallery. And he'd rent them over and over, watch the same shit. I'm like, dude, we already know who wins this. Frank Shamrock's going to win by rear naked choke right here. I already know it. But anyway, so I've been watching UFC for a long time. But there's some pretty interesting rumors swirling around the UFC community right now. Kamaru Usman has that same fucking manager as Khabib, as fucking Triple C, that Ali Abiza, whatever the fuck his name. I do not like this guy. So he took to Twitter He's also Jorge Masvidal's, which is going to come into play here. Masvidal reached out on Twitter and said, "Let's run it back." Pretty much challenging Nate Diaz to a rematch. So I don't know what he's thinking there. Got to be wanting the money. There's no title. I mean, maybe the BMF title. It's really a fake title, to be honest, but yeah, it's a title nonetheless. And then we've got Ali, the manager of Kamaru Usman, took to Twitter to call out Conor McGregor and say, "If you want it, come get it." So there's rumors that that's happening July 4th, as early as July 4th. My thoughts on this fight. Whew, I don't know if I like this matchup for McGregor. I believe McGregor can knock his ass out. Yes, of course. But I think that may be McGregor's only course to win this fight. This dude has really good cardio, can take a punch. We've seen him. I mean, he's undefeated in the UFC for a reason. Can take a punch. He came up, fought the best of the welterweight division. Dominated pretty much everybody but Colby Covington. Honestly, had that 2-2 going into the fifth round, and I think Colby was winning early in that fifth round until he got caught and got his jaw broke in the fourth round. I think he probably lost the fourth round, but once he got his jaw broke, I think it was pretty much a wrap for him. But I really like. I'm definitely gonna watch it. It's Conor McGregor.
It's gonna be a good one.
I don't know who I'd pick. I'd have to look at some analytics.
We've talked about this before. How me and you both really like seeing Conor McGregor at 170. He looks really good at 170.
Right.
But we look back at the fact, okay, dude is a big 155er. But
I don't think he's that big of a 155er. I think he's about.
Well, I mean, if you put him up to some of those guys,
he's smaller than Khabib.
I mean, Khabib looks like a freaking pit bull, dude.
Khabib's a big 155er.
Yeah, he looks like a freaking pit bull. That dude's mom was a pit bull, and his dad was some freaking random
bear
Russian dude. Yeah, he was out there chopping trees down in the frigid temperatures of Russia, dude.
Yeah. So we have seen Conor McGregor at 155 or 170 rather, but the two fights he's had at 170 were against people who were previously lightweights, 155 division, in Nate Diaz and Cowboy Cerrone. So this is why the UFC needs a 160. They just need to go 10-pound increments every weight class, because you get these guys that are tweeners like Jorge Masvidal. It would be a stretch for Jorge to make 155. It would be really easy for him to make 165.
Mm-hmm.
Kamaru Usman, I don't know if he can make 165. He really struggles to get to 70. He looks borderline holocaustic, I would say, going to 170. So he's a big guy, and I don't think McGregor has fought a true welterweight yet. But do I think he can win? Absolutely. McGregor could knock him out for sure, because McGregor, I've looked at him on Twitter the other day. He's got some big ass arms, but his lower body could definitely use some work, I feel like, because Usman likes to use those leg kicks. He's really good at utilizing the leg strikes and the body, wearing your body down, and he can also knock you out. So I mean, he's really well rounded. I don't like him that much, but he's a great fighter. I'll watch him fight.
I think that Conor could see real problems.
Oh yeah, I think stylistically it's not a real good matchup for him.
I think he could see real problems with that. Now, would I like to see Conor win a belt at 170?
Oh fuck yeah!
Duh.
Yeah. Give me that. I'm rooting for McGregor.
Honestly,
for sure.
I want to see the fight. I don't know. This is a fight that I wouldn't bet on. I mean, I wouldn't bet any money on it, because it's just something that, dude, there's so many obstacles that Conor's going to have to overcome just within stylistic wise and weight wise, that, yeah, he might be 170 pounds, but putting on that 170 pounds, did it slow him down? Is he going to be as quick on his feet? How's his footwork going to look? Or is jabs going to be as quick? So there's going to be some obstacles. Now, do I think, I mean, this dude's obviously an athlete, one of the best martial artists in the world. So do I think he can overcome those obstacles? Yeah. Do I think he could be 170 champion? Yeah. But it's gonna be an interesting fight. I'd like to see it.
Well, I'd love to see it too. I don't really know what other options McGregor has right now. I mean, you look at some of the interesting fights that he could take is, one, the rematch with Floyd Mayweather. I think he definitely wants that fight. I don't think that's a good option for him, because I want to see him in the octagon. I think that's where he really gets to show off his full skill set. The octagon. So as far as the octagon goes, you got Nate Diaz. People will buy that fight. But for some reason, I don't think Nate wants to run that route again. I think Nate. I looked at Nate's net worth the other day. He's sitting at about $8 million in net worth. I think he's probably. I don't think unless he fights Jorge again. I don't think he's fighting anymore ever. So I don't think that's a real option right now. Then you've got Tony Ferguson. If you wait on him to recover, he's banned for 6 months, suspended for 6 months medically. I don't think Conor wants to wait that long. I hope he don't want to wait that long. Supposedly, there's going to be a July 4th card, and it's going to be stacked. I think that's where McGregor's going to fight. Then you look at the Usman fight.
Island, correct?
Supposed to be. We'll see. Then you look at the Usman fight. I mean, that makes sense for him as for a belt. Other than that don't even really make a lot of sense. There's not a lot of rivalry there. Of course, everybody wants to see the Khabib rematch, but Justin Gaethje's earned that title shot. Everybody wants to see that fight as well. It really makes no sense unless Max Holloway. I've heard rumors that he's wanting to stay at 155 after he lost his belt at 145. He's starting to have trouble making 145, and they've already fought one time. And Conor destroyed him, but that was a young Max Holloway. That fight makes a little bit of sense, maybe.
There's so much.
Tony's beat up. Unfortunately for Tony, he worked so hard to get up there to the top. With this 6-month suspension, he may fall down the rankings, plummet down the rankings to like 5th or so. And if Max Holloway decides to jump to lightweight, then
there's so much that can go on. There's so much that can go on right now. I mean, excluding Conor, if you look at the rankings at 155 right now, God, there's so many good fights. There's a possibility for a bunch of good fights coming up. I mean, and that's excluding Conor McGregor.
Yeah, the lightweight division is absolutely stacked.
So you could see. I like when you said Tony Ferguson. I could see Tony if he doesn't get in the shape that he needs to get in and kind of fight that suspension or try to. I don't see it looking good for him.
Yes, waiting 6 months to fight, there's going to be a lot of opportunities that he misses for sure. Like McGregor, that fight would make perfect sense right now. Of course, I don't think he'd be able to, even if he didn't take substantial damage. July's a quick turnaround for him. 3 months is a quick turnaround for anybody. But Ferguson's been known to do that kind of stuff, so I don't think it would have been out of the question. But there's a lot of interesting matches to make up. Did you hear about John Jones and Francis Ngannou? You actually went on record saying that you wanted to see this fight.
Yeah.
And then it started popping. Like there was a lot of steam behind it. But unfortunately, I don't think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon.
I don't think Dana White's interested in it for some reason. That thing's going to sell. I think both of them want too much money.
Dana's scared to do business with John Jones, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
I think he is.
I don't blame him. I mean, every time he gets another chance, he fucks up.
I completely understand what side Dana's coming from, but at the same time, you're looking at people who are so damn crazy that they get into a ring with absolute murderers for a living. Any one of those. So, I mean, you got to be like, okay, there's some risk involved in working with these people.
Right. And I think Dana's a businessman, of course. Yeah. He's looking at these numbers.
First and foremost.
He knows this fight's going to do crazy numbers. So I think there was an offer on the table, and I think both fighters wanted more money.
I want to see it. Well, I mean, dude, to me, that fight would be worth giving them money.
Right, but Dana told them, like, this is what we're going to give you. And then, of course, if you're the main event, then you get a cut of the pay-per-view buys. And he's like, hey, that's where you're going to make all your money is pay-per-view.
Hey, win. If you win, you got it, baby. That's you get
the bonuses. Yeah, you got the bonuses in there. Fight of the night, of course, knockout of the night, submission of the night, and then you get the pay-per-view cut. That could be a huge payday, especially for Ngannou, who hadn't been really getting paid that well. John Jones has got money, but I think they want too much money. I think Dana White's kind of backed off that fight, but I think it's still a possibility. Dana White's no idiot. He's a good businessman.
Anything's a possibility.
He knows that. He knows that's going to do numbers. I think he's backing off to kind of assert his dominance. Like, hey, I don't need to book that fucking fight. That way he can get them. It's kind of like a monopoly. Kind of fucked up, but I understand Dana White's business aspect. I think he's backing off just to show him, hey, I'm not paying y'all motherfuckers no more. Same thing he did with Triple C. Henry Cejudo wanted to start getting paid more. Of course, this little fucking rat manager was in his ear saying, hey, you deserve more money. You deserve this. You deserve that. And Dana got tired of hearing the shit. So he just retired. Triple C, Henry Cejudo retired. But that'll do it for the UFC. Our last topic of the day, Joe Biden. What a fucking idiot this guy is. Jesus. How stupid. Where is the outrage about this shit? Do you know what kind of outrage this would bring if Donald Trump had said this shit?
I want to go ahead and because there was 2 comments that he made. Obviously, we all know, everybody knows what you were talking about there. He made a comment that he was like, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna be, and they thought he said beat Joe Biden. I'm fairly sure he said I'm going to be Joe Biden. And everybody kept jumping on this. Well, let's see. Let's decipher this and see if he's just really, dude. You look at the black comment and you're like, dude, you don't even have to decipher this. Throw that out the window. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like, you
how
don't
is
have
this guy a fucking presidential candidate? Like, what is going on in this world? All right, if you don't know what he said, I'm gonna give you my version of what he said because I don't know verbatim what he said, but he said,
I'll say it right now. I know exactly what he said.
Do verbatim. Go ahead, Josh. I know you
know. He was on a talk show with a black individual, and he said, well, we're getting close to the black. I don't know who the black guy was, but I think it was part of a podcast or something like that. And he said, we're getting close to November, and we're going to have some questions for you, Joe. And being a supportive, like he was going to vote for him. And then Joe goes, well, if you got questions about whether you going to support me or Donald Trump, then you ain't black. That's exactly verbatim, word for word, what the man said.
Jesus, dude. If Donald Trump would have said this, do you realize there'd be fucking riots in the street, dude? And you know there would be, right? Am I right?
Oh yeah, I mean you're 100% right. And okay, I've seen, because I'm on a lot of pages on social media and stuff that have black conservatives on there. Some famous people like the Harris twins. What are their names? Diamond and Silk. Those 2 ladies who are African American individuals who are Donald Trump supporters. They're getting lit up by conservative African Americans. He's getting lit up by them. But I'm not seeing anything from the media, from the black community that is going to vote for him. I'm not seeing anything from it. And that's what's interesting to me, is just to see how you'll see this community get up on their horse, and when they see something they don't like from a party that, like the Republican Party, that they don't agree with, anything that happens, dude, they're shooting them down. Goes back to the same stuff. If something happens with a cop, an African American, they don't care about any of the details. They don't care about what really happened. They're automatically go all guns ablazing towards that cop or towards against every cop that ever lives. Joe Biden comes out and says that you're not black if you don't vote Democrat, which is an extremely racist thing to say. And you haven't heard a word about it from from a lot of the black community or the media or Don Lemon.
Right. And I think it's so confusing that I don't even know what their agenda is anymore at this point.
They don't have one. They don't. It's all get rid of Trump. That's the only. And honestly, at this point, if the Democrats dropped the whole get rid of Trump agenda and they came to the table with some kind of form of socialism that was under the guise of something that wasn't socialism, they might win. Because right now you're looking at Gen X is it Gen X or Gen Zs? I think it's
Gen Z.
Gen Zs, they're about to be able to start voting.
Right.
And those guys want nothing to do with these old guard Democrats. They don't want anything to do with them. But if you get somebody like AOC who doesn't really know what she's talking about, but she can hit those she can hit those red flag markers every time, and she'll throw out like some kind of baited term that they're gonna, the Gen Z and the millennials will identify with this, kind of like free healthcare or Medicare for all or school free tuition or something like that. Just saying those words, like you don't even have to explain yourself or make a plan. Like
Right.
you don't have to make a plan for, okay, this is step by step how we're going to pay for everybody in America's tuition, or this is step by step how we're going to give everybody Medicare. And you don't have to give those plans. You don't even have to say you have a plan. You can just say, hey, Gen Z, guess what? I'm for free Medicare. And Josh Hutto would be polling at 15% right now.
Absolutely. But my thing is on this, Joe Biden, come on, yo. Like, this guy's a complete fucking tool. Like, I don't think he knows where he's at, one.
Well, and that's
two,
what I was about to ask you.
Two, this motherfucker's out here making racist statements like that. If that's, in my opinion, this is my opinion, that's more racist than anything Donald Trump has said that we know about. That's my opinion.
I was going to say, I'm at the point where if somebody's like, oh, Donald Trump's a racist, I'm like, okay, if you can show me something, because to me, I like to look at somebody's actions and compared to what other people are saying about them. Just like that's how you would want to be treated.
Absolutely. 100%.
So if you look at Donald Trump and the stuff that he did in New York for the African American community, or you look at what he's done getting black teenagers to the White House, talking to them about, hey, we know y'all are the future, so we want to know what y'all's concerns are. And I mean, his daughter's involved in it heavily. His son, Donald Trump Jr., is involved in stuff like that heavily. So to me, that's kind of proof that like he cares, and he's not out there saying, "No, well, you're not black if you don't vote for me." I mean, he literally in 2015, he said, Donald Trump, this was his only plea to the black community, African American community. He comes out and he says, "You've been voting Democrat for the past 50 years. Give me a chance and see if I don't work for you." He's like, "And if I don't work for you, don't vote for me next time." And in the last 3 years, we've seen black unemployment at an all-time low. At an all-time black unemployment at an all-time low. More African American people are getting off of food stamps and are having more food on the table, not depending on somebody from the government to come by and say, "Hey, this is what." So there's more jobs opening up, and we haven't seen this before. And I mean, I'm not saying that it's completely because of Republicans in charge. I'm not saying that, but Donald Trump has one after the other put in conservative legislature and stuff to promote the economy instead of hurting it. And we're seeing stuff like that happen. So like he said in 2016, you see what I'm trying to do for y'all. And now he actually has stuff that he can back it up and say, hey, look, within the past 3 years, black unemployment is an all-time low. Hispanic unemployment is an all-time low.
Right.
What do you have to lose? And
exactly.
And I think he's proved his point, and I think he's proved what he said in 2015.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. Trump so far has done exactly what he said he's going to do for the most part. Anything within his power, But I just like I said,
I don't even know if it was what Joe Biden said was necessarily he meant it to be racist, but it was definitely offensive. I mean, if I was black, I don't necessarily think Joe Biden is a racist. And this is
I do not think he's a racist.
This is what irritates me about politics today on both sides is that, okay, Joe Biden does weird shit. He does weird shit where he'll walk up behind a child and like sniff their hair. But I mean, that's the politics of yesteryear where, kissing the baby was a cool thing to do. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily think he's a pedophile. People always say, oh, Joe Biden's a pedophile. I've shared funny memes with the same stuff on there, but I don't necessarily think he's a pedophile.
Right.
Because he said this, I think we can attack their politics and their position on things without having to run these people in the ground. And I think it looks better for our party too.
Oh, absolutely.
Instead of attacking the person, attack their policies, attack their views. So I think it's something definitely to comment on, and it was obviously odd. And
for sure.
Obviously, at this point, the African American community is going to have to make their own decision.
Right. My thing is, I want these Democrats to keep that same fucking energy. If Trump would have said this, fuck, dude, there's no telling. He might have been impeached. Who fucking knows? It's crazy, dude. And then these fuckers are all got the cat's got their tongue now that fucking their dumbass Democratic nominee is fucking out here sparking off racist remarks. Like I said, I don't think Joe Biden's racist, just like I don't think Trump's racist. But why did you say that shit, you idiot? You're a moron.
You know,
and then no backlash from the media. Like, this should have been headlining every motherfucking newspaper in America.
You know, his campaign manager has to drink every night.
He's like, fuck, how can we make this dude look like he actually knows where he's at today? Fuck.
You know, that might be the most stressful job in the world.
Dude, gotta be. Dude's a fucking clown.
You think running SpaceX and Elon Musk company is stressful? No, get fucked. Be Joe Biden's campaign manager.
I think I'll pass on that shit, dude. I think I'd rather be Joe Exotic's campaign manager than this motherfucker.
Also, speaking of Joe Exotic, did you see that? I'm wondering how Joe Exotic is feeling this week in prison after there's been videos of his husband. What's his passage?
Dylan Passage?
Passage is out and about on boats with other young, more attractive looking men than Joe Biden.
Man.
Yeah, poor he can't even do. He gets his
poor Joe.
Old Dylan is out here. Nobody
fucking getting the rock slung to him by everybody.
Nobody knows who this guy is, and then all of a sudden he gets a little bit of fame and is out here cheating on Joe. God,
getting the rod slung to this guy.
Yeah.
Are these people running for the fucking governor of Oklahoma? I don't think so, buddy. It's fucking Joe or Snow, buddy.
Yeah.
Jesus. Anyway, well, I think that's all we got for today, ladies and gentlemen. As always, it's been a pleasure. Make sure you like, subscribe on all platforms. Tell a friend. Comment. Let us know what you want to hear next. And as always, have a great week. Peace.
Yang. 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 Yang.
Thanks for tuning into the B-Max Sports Podcast.
40, 1, Lindsay, 25, 20, 15, 10, 5, Lindsay, stop.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode.
I love the show, guys. You're awesome.
Listen, my whole family loves it, man.
I never miss an episode. It's the best.
We'll see you next week.
Go rock this thing, huh? Love you, man. Let's go get it.